to Infamous Sports Talk. I'm Brock, and I will be joined by my sports expert, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
All right, this will be a three times a week sports talk show about everything major going on in sports. We don't have set dates for when the shows will be coming out yet, but it should be three times a day weekly. We are also going to have sports specific channels that I'm going to link in the description down below for if you're just an MLB fan, just want to listen to MLB, just an NFL fan, want to listen to just NFL or basketball, MMA, whatever. So without all that out the way, let's go and get into the show. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the unfortunate sweep that happened in NBA. Kyrie and KD get absolutely thrashed by the Boston Celtics. I mean,
Yeah,
good
I
luck.
mean they went out there and to say the least they disappointed. I mean it's a team that a lot of people probably had going to the finals, maybe even winning it. So
Right.
see them get swept like that. You could say it's
Shocker.
disappointing for the team.
Yeah, I mean they're going into the year with the three-headed monster of Harden, Kyrie, KD. Of course they weren't, you know, thinking Kyrie wasn't going to play half the games and he was only going to play home games till about the end of the year. So they never really got real chemistry. Then Harden quit on the team and decided to get traded, and he went to Philly. And then they just kind of never clicked, and then went into the playoffs against a red hot Celtics team and just got absolutely demolished, pretty much. And as we move on to the box scores of Game 3, we're going to take a look at what the Celtics did in that game. Tatum dropped pretty much a 40 bomb. What else happened? Marcus Smart,
Yeah, I mean the
30.
three-headed monster of Tatum, Brown, and Marcus Smart just kind of dominated.
Yeah,
I mean there's games where either Katie or Kyrie were just not they weren't giving you the impact you'd want them to give you.
yeah, they were getting beat on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Tatum was the best player in the series by a mile. He was playing the best, like some of the best defense I've seen him ever play, some of the best offense, and he's really like solidified himself in this series like a top 10 player in the league in my eyes. I don't know if you agree, but
You know,
he's in the
I'd have
conversation.
to probably make a list and
Right.
double check it, maybe even triple check it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put you on
He
the
could
spot.
be he's around there.
Yeah, I have him probably at the bottom of my top 10, but yeah, he's definitely a real deal player in the league. As we're gonna move on to the Nets, what they did in Game 3, and it wasn't a whole lot. Bruce Brown was their leading scorer, and I don't care what happens in a basketball game. If you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on your basketball team, and neither two are the leading scorer, and Bruce Brown is, who's basically just been turned into a defender, and he has the most points in your team by 10, that's never going to win you a basketball game.
Also, I mean, it's just shocking to see Kevin Durant take 11 shots in game three of a playoff game when his team's down 2-0. I mean, that's just kind of crazy to be honest.
Yeah. He played 46 minutes. He played every pretty much the entire game. Only took 11 shots, 16 points. He almost had a triple double, but he had five turnovers. Was getting clamped. I mean, they just got outplayed in every aspect. I mean,
The Celtics defense is dangerous. I mean, they got their whole team. They just play defense and they play well.
yeah, well coached. Steve Nash. I think if anything, then what the Nets will do is they'll just fire Steve Nash because I mean, in the NBA, it's just a free way to get out of something. It's like just blame the coach and rehire and see if it works. But I don't really think it was Steve Nash's fault completely. But he did say some questionable things in the post game conference about how they haven't really had chemistry and all this other stuff. When it's like, I mean, these guys are superstars. I mean, they've played together for
Yeah.
2 years. I mean, can't
I
win a
mean,
game.
it is kind of the coach's job to bring the team together and make sure they're all on the same page. And we weren't in the huddle, we weren't in the locker room. We don't know exactly how that was all going, especially with it seemed like at points KD may have been a little annoyed with Kyrie missing games throughout the season. But
Yeah,
uh, team just didn't have it this series.
didn't have it at all. Let's move on to Game 4, where the Celtics closed it out at Brooklyn in the Barclays Center. Tatum 29 points, Marcus Smart 20, Jalen Brown 20. Two, no one really went off in this game. It was just an overall team performance, and they pulled it out at the end. Anything stand out in this box score? Is it just, you know, expected?
Not really to me. I just Marcus Smart is just he's a very underappreciated player.
Yeah,
He's someone that he's such a glue, such a great glue person for a team. He'll come out, he'll do the things that, the other players likely won't. He'll play really good defense for you. I mean, he's the first guard to win Defensive Player of the Year since Gary Payton.
yeah.
And I mean, like he does it all.
Yeah, I feel like he's really starting to get more recognition now since he won Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know if many people saw him winning that, but he ended up winning it. The only thing that really stands out to me is Gray Williams coming off the bench in this game, and I think he was like perfect from three to start. He was like 4 for 4, and then I think he missed two. But I mean, other than that, just pretty much what you'd expect. As we're gonna go on to the Nets here in a second. Uh, let's see, Kevin Durant with 40, not great efficiency. Kyrie with 20, 6 for 13. Seth Curry 9 for 13 shooting. Bruce Brown was their leading scorer in Game 3. Only made one shot in Game 4. Does anything here look interesting?
I mean, I guess you like to see KD go out there and really try to go out with a bang. Like if he's gonna go out, at least he's putting up 31 shots. But I mean, yeah, it's just disappointed all around. Really, just looking at this.
Yeah, he played the entire
I
game. I mean,
I will say you do gotta look at the Nets bench and you gotta wonder. Like, I mean, they need some bench help.
yeah. They played Drummond 4 minutes, took him out, put Blake Griffin in, who wasn't playing at all in the series until about Game 3, and he pretty much played like the entire fourth quarter, pretty much, I think. Didn't do a lot. And I
Yeah.
mean, Claxton missing 10 straight free throws, I think it was, definitely isn't going to help when you try to win a basketball game. But
It's definitely not great. You don't you don't want to see anybody go 1 for 11 from the line. I mean,
yeah,
that's
I mean,
just pitiful.
didn't miss a shot, but couldn't make a free throw to save his life. He broke Shaq's record, I think, of most consecutive free throw misses in the playoffs. So he's got that going for him. But yeah, the Nets closed it out, or the Celtics closed it out. 4-0 sweep, the only sweep in the playoffs. Everyone thought this would be the best series in the first round. Ended up being the biggest blowout in the first round. Even though the games were close, it was the only series not to go more than 4 games. Now we're going to go to the preseason predictions of this year, which actually had the Nets going on to win it all at 29%, which obviously didn't happen. They got swept. I mean, why do you think this happened? What really was the turning point for the Nets for them to like to fall apart?
You know, I don't know if there was ever a turning point or if they were just overvalued. I mean, you look at the team, you see James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, and I mean, obviously that's gonna be a top team. Like you're gonna predict them to be really good, but it's just like team just didn't really have a good dynamic together. James Harden, obviously this is before James Harden wanted out
Yeah, he
when
showed up
they
like a
gave
fucking
them
balloon
odds,
to
but
preseason. Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed like the team never really clicked,
Mm-mm.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean
And that
Kyrie missing
matters.
all the
I mean, you
games.
need your
Yeah.
team to click. You need your team to be playing team basketball at times. You need everyone to like be ready to be involved. You need to play team defense. I mean, it's a team sport. As much as three superstars is definitely going to give you the edge.
Yeah.
You need more than that to win a championship, typically, even if it's just role players doing the small things.
Yeah, I mean I would say both these teams win the playoffs completely opposite. The Celtics team in red hot, probably one of the if not the best team in the second half of the season. They were clicking. The Bucks actually avoided the Nets. They sat everyone to not get the Nets in the first round, and the Celtics didn't give a shit, and they proved why they didn't give a shit. They went out and swept them. And I mean, we don't
Yeah,
have Ben Simmons here, but I just want to jump into this real quick. Ben Simmons is the weakest person in all of sports. I think he came out today and said that there's sometimes he has like a stress that causes pain in his back. I mean, my God.
yeah. I mean, I can't completely speak on what Ben Simmons is actually going through, but I mean, it's definitely not a good look what's happened so far this season. I do got one. I got one question here though.
Okay, ready for an answer?
And that question has it was in my mind, right? It was
Okay,
there,
it was
and
there.
it just took a left turn right out of
Well,
it.
that's fine because I'll continue to talk about Ben Simmons while you maybe try to find that. So Ben Simmons, Game 3. It's pretty much a set thing. Okay, he's gonna play Game 3, or was that Game 4? I don't know. Game 4, Game 3 doesn't matter. So
Game
he's
four.
Game 4. He was supposed to play Game 4, 100%. Here he comes. He's back. Okay, so if they won Game 3 and he went and they were only down 2-1, I feel like he 100% comes back. That's the one. My only thing is I think he comes back. Whatever, he comes back Game 4 because they have a chance. I just don't think he wanted to come back because they were down 3-0 and he didn't want to be his last 2 games that he played in the NBA to be him getting eliminated from the playoffs
Yeah.
twice. It's
He
just,
didn't want to add on to the embarrassment of Ben Simmons
I mean, it can't get
per
much
se.
worse, but yeah, that would have definitely added to it. But just go
I
out and
did it.
play.
My question did. It took a right turn back into the
Okay,
mind
here we
here,
go.
and
Nets.
now after this series, would you say where would you say the Celtics are in your favorites to win the championship
Well,
or to make it to the championship
they play the
in both
Bucks
ways?
in the next round that's starting on Sunday. They're not gonna have Chris Middleton for probably the first few games, if at all, in the series. They might get him back if it goes like 6 or 7 or 5. I don't know. I mean, the Celtics look like they're clicking. I mean, it's Giannis. I mean, if they can get all contain Giannis whatsoever, I think it's gonna be Celtics in 5 or 6. To be honest, I mean, after this, I've seen what's happened in the East so far. I would say the Celtics are my favorite. The Sixers were looking hot, went up 3-0, and they're at risk of going to Game 7 tonight in Toronto. So, I mean, I really don't see any comp currently. I think we're basically seeing an Eastern Conference like finals in the semifinals between the Bucks and the Celtics, because I don't think the Sixers or the Raptors have anything for these two teams. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, there is the Heat, but
Oh,
to add
they
on to
are a
that, I don't
team. You're
know.
right.
I don't know if the Bucks are going to be able to really give the Celtics much of a match without Chris Middleton. I mean, he plays a pretty key part in their team success, being like the shot creator sort of guy. And I mean, the Celtics got I've had they had the best defense the second half of the year, I believe.
Yeah.
It may have been the Heat, but I'm pretty sure it was the Celtics. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be really hard for the Bucks. I mean, Drew Holiday is going to have to play out of his mind for them to really be in that series, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely did forget the Heat are a basketball team that are still playing basketball. The most forgettable one seed in recent memory, but it's okay. I do think they
I
would
will.
go ahead.
No, you can continue.
All right, thank you so much. I do think the Heat also wouldn't stand a chance against the Net or the Celtics or the Bucks. But just throwing it out there. But yeah, I did forget the Heat. So
Uh, I do disagree with you a little bit there. I will say that I think the Heat are definitely would give the Celtics their best run without the Bucks having Chris Middleton.
right.
Just because they're the same kind of like gritty defense, like grind out a game team that they're not gonna go away. But I definitely would say the Celtics are my favorites to make it out the East, and the way they're looking, they may be my favorites to win the championship.
Yeah. I think the Warriors right now are my top two teams that I'd probably say could win it all. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I do want to see Devin Booker come back and see how the Suns look again because yeah, I mean I really did like the Suns coming into the playoffs, so I don't know.
yeah. If Devin Booker comes back and they're back at 100%, then we'll see. But moving on to the Nets contract situations with their players. Let's see. They have Kyrie on a player option. What do you think Kyrie does with the player option? Do you think he declines it, accepts it? What are we looking at?
It's an interesting situation because, I mean, Kyrie's an interesting guy.
Very
So,
interesting guy. Flat earther, by the way. So
he is a flat earther, but just I mean, with all the dynamics that were happening this season, I don't know how much Kyrie still wants to be in net. Like he's just and Kyrie can kind of change his mood on a situation
yeah,
in hurry. He's that kind of he seems like that kind of guy. So I don't really know what he's gonna do, and Nets are gonna be in quite the predicament if Kyrie does just end up leaving and declining that.
yeah. Because I don't know of any other. I mean, what other players would go to the Nets? That I mean, I don't know.
Well,
Like if they lose Kyrie,
another issue with that is too they're not gonna have cap.
yeah,
Even if Kyrie walks, because they're paying KD 44 mil and they're paying Ben Simmons 35 mil, and Joe Harris is still on a pretty fat contract.
yeah. I don't know. I
I mean,
mean,
there's maybe ways they could work around it and try to get something going, but it's going to be tough for the Nets to do a lot if the Kyrie walks.
hmm yeah. I mean, if it's just KD and Ben Simmons, I mean, that's not going to be a championship team. That'll be
Yeah, and it
first
also, I
round
mean, if
exits.
Kyrie walks, I mean, what do we think Kevin Durant's gonna do? Is he gonna try to just stick it out, see how it goes? Is he gonna try to request out? Like, I mean, even if Kyrie stays, I could see a potential way, a potential thing of Kevin Durant wanted to get out of Brooklyn. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Kevin Durant. I mean, he's not on LeBron's level, but I think he's near it, where he has the like power to just persuade people to come play with him because he's Kevin Durant, and he gives people a good chance of going far in playoffs or winning series. So if you get players that are like good role players or like borderline all stars that come for like not fat contracts, and they just build around Kevin Durant with like decent players, it could work. But right now, the way the
Yeah,
team is, it's not a championship contender. So
it almost it could be a better approach for them to try building with a better role player, uh, kind of team.
yeah,
A lot of guys that are going to get their role done. Maybe they could get good chemistry throughout the team, get a good culture going, and maybe the team could look different.
right. So is there anything else with the Nets that you want to talk about or
I
intrigue?
think we pretty much touched on everything I want to talk about.
Yeah. So basically, they got swept. They need to figure some shit out. Fire Steve Nash. Don't fire Steve Nash. Kyrie's leaving. Is he staying? We'll figure it out. All right. Moving on to another big meltdown, maybe worse than what the Nets went through, is Trey Young. Um, maybe the worst series by a star in recent memory that I could even think of. I mean, is there anyone else that even compares?
I mean, there's definitely been some series, but
Yeah.
I would say Trey Young stacks up with some of the worst out there of recent years, and I mean, really just overall.
I mean, he is going against probably the top defensive team in the league, and I'm sure they're doing things to like trap him, make sure he doesn't just go out there and shoot wide open the floaters and threes. But if you're a superstar and you're like a star and you're the main guy on the team, you can't do things like this. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, having 30 turnovers and 22 made baskets is definitely not a good look. At the end of the day, though, you do got to have a system. That's where like having a great coach comes in benefit. You need to have ways to help your star get out of being trapped, being just completely pressured, facing a really good defense that's just focusing on him. And
Yeah.
that's one thing the Hawks don't really got. Nate
Yeah.
McMillan is really not the best out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure who was guarding Trey Young game 5. They didn't have Lowry, they didn't have Butler. So they didn't have what would that be their top two like wing defenders on their team playing? Or am I forgetting someone
Uh,
that's also a star defense that's
Yeah,
they
I mean
have?
that's Lowry and Butler are probably
Yeah.
their one and two. I mean
And he didn't do anything in
Bam.
game
I mean
5.
he also has Bam that's always switching on like as the second man who can stay with a lot most guards in the league. He's a really good perimeter defender for being that big, and he's going to be there meeting him at the rim too. That was part of the issue for Trae.
Yeah, I mean, just not a good series at all. I mean, more turnovers than baskets. He had 30 turnovers, 22 baskets. It wasn't good. We're gonna move on to his stats to see really what happened. Yeah, I mean, 11 points game one, 9 points game two, or doing it backwards. I think. Yeah, 8 points game one, 25 game two, 24 game three, 9 game four, and 11 in game five. I mean, closeout game, 11 points.
Yeah, and I mean the lowest amount of turnovers. Yeah, oh, he had a three turnover game, but other than that, I mean 5, 6, 6, and 10. That's just like it's a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, and it probably was. Would you say it was the worst matchup the Hawks could have got in the first round? I mean, I
Yeah, I mean that's really not a good matchup for the Hawks. I mean the Celtics wouldn't have been good for them either, just with their defense. But I mean it's really hard when you're like I mean I've seen it like specifically for me, I've seen it with Damian Lillard where he's had a just a horrific coach that couldn't help him get out of being trapped and just gave him nothing to really no outlet passes, no back screens to help him get free. And I mean, I feel like Trae Young's probably going through a similar situation, but he couldn't handle it well himself. So hopefully the Hawks find a way to help him next year if this happens because teams are gonna apply pressure. They're gonna trap him. I mean, it's just what the playoffs are. You got to have ways to beat it, which usually involves a good coach or just multiple stars. So
yeah, the Hawks went to the Eastern Conference Finals last playoffs, go out in the first round this year, uncompetitively really. They won one game, but some of the other ones weren't very close. DeAndre Hunter was the star of Game 5, and then they had other role players who stepped up when Trey Young wasn't able to do anything. I mean, I don't no, I mean John Collins tried to play. I don't know if he was 100%. He was injured before the playoffs started. Clint Capella came back in Game 4, I think. I mean, they weren't the healthiest team, but you can't. I mean, you can't have Trey Young dropping less than 10 points in two of your 5 games in the playoffs. It's just never gonna
It's
win
not
you any
gonna get it
playoff
done with
games.
that team.
No.
Yeah, I mean he's the clear star of that team. You're gonna need him to give you more than that.
Yeah. Let's move on to their contracts. See what they can do. See what they're working with. See really what their team's constructed like for the next few years. So they have Trey
And f
Young locked up forever. They have Collins locked up for the next few years. Gallinari is a free agent after this upcoming year. I mean, everyone's pretty much locked up. They don't really
yeah,
have any
I mean
space to
this
move.
team is kind of like the Nets where they don't really have a lot of options to really like do the stuff in like free agency. I mean they got tradable players. They got things they can work around and try to do the change of the team. But for me, I would try to find a good coach. I wouldn't blow up the roster yet. I mean, they got good players. They got potential. They're still young. I mean, I like Trey Young, John Collins, Huter, Hunter.
Yeah.
I like get a little core there. Uh, so I want to see them maybe look for a better coach that can help them run better plays and better schemes to get out of facing a tough defense, make it a little easier on them.
Yeah.
Maybe get them playing more defense themselves.
So yeah, Trey Young is locked up for the next few years, 30 million. I mean, he's going to take a lot of their cap. John Collins. I mean, they're pretty much. I don't know if you agree with this comparison, but I just look at them as like the East version of the Jazz. Bring back the same team, hope it works, and then eventually just get
Yeah, I
eliminated
wouldn't
from
go
it.
that far just due to the due to the fact
Because
that they're pretty young.
I
They
mean, they're
like DeAndre
young.
Hunter is gonna get better, Huter's gonna get better, Trey Young's still getting better. He's only 24, Collins is only 25. I mean, this is a young team.
I just don't
They
see
they
how
got
they
more
improve.
experience,
I mean,
but
they could all improve and get better, but I don't see any of these like I don't see a Hunter turning into a star. I don't see Huter. I mean, I think they're just all what they are. I mean, they
yeah,
could
I don't know if this
improve.
is the roster that gets it done, but usually to me, I've seen that the East has kind of been like it's not necessarily a wide open like everyone can get to the championship, but I mean, I feel like this team, if they get the right coach, they can maybe unlock another level and compete. So I don't know.
I think
I
they need
mean,
another like star, like superstar. Like they don't. They have
wouldn't
Trey Young
hurt.
and rope. Like Collins is a like a good player, but he's not a all star. They
Yeah,
just have a
but
bunch
I
of really
mean,
good role
if
players.
if Collins could give you 20, maybe DeAndre Hunter takes a step, gives you 20. That's kind of their like if they got Collins and Hunter as a good like second option sort of thing, maybe a coach would allow them to play like turn into a solid defensive team. They got Huter could be a solid like 10 to 15 point guy. I mean,
Yeah,
Bogdan could give you some points. They got scoring. It's just I feel like they need to active they need to find a way to kind of mule it all together.
yeah. I mean, I think in today's NBA, you need at least 2 stars to win a championship. And I can't really think of a team that's won recently that hasn't had at least 2 like really good top stars. And this team doesn't have that currently. I think eventually they can make a trade or free up cap and try to get someone to come, but until then, I just see them as like a team that might get to like the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs and then just get eliminated. That's where I think they're currently stuck at. But we'll see. I don't know. Is there anything else with the Hawks that you want to talk about?
Um, yeah, no, I think that's good for me and the Hawks.
All right, so we're moving on to the NFL. Tomorrow, of course, is the big day, the draft day, where shit teams get to figure out if they're going to be good again, and good teams really don't care.
But my Seahawks, baby, come on.
Yeah, the Seahawks picking number 9, their first round pick in 20 years.
Oh, come
Looking to
on, man.
capitalize on that. So what we're gonna do is a first round mock draft, and spoiler, we are not experts. We don't watch every college game. We don't watch all their tape. We're just gonna give you our ideas of what we think's gonna happen, and what might happen, and what should happen maybe for some teams. And it's not gonna take forever because we're not gonna sit here and talk about each pick for 10 minutes and to really go in depth, but you know, we'll
Yeah, I
see.
mean, we just want to put out our own basically what we think could happen, see how close we are. Uh, it's more of
Yeah,
just like a kind of a fun thing in a way because we don't know the most, but we know some, and we can try to make some educated picks and ideas of what could happen in the draft.
right. And of course, not taking, as we said, 10 minutes or 15 minutes on each pick because we'll be here till the draft tomorrow. So we're gonna somewhat speed through it, but we'll take some time on some picks. All right. So the number one pick, courtesy of the
Uh,
Jacksonville Jaguars, is pretty much set in stone. I don't know if I agree with it personally, but it appears that Trayvon Walker will be a Jaguar tomorrow night.
yeah.
I mean, I think Hutchinson is the best player overall that you could pick, personally. But Trayvon Walker, I guess, has the upside. Is that what people were saying? He's a freak athlete. His combine.
Basically, yeah, Trayvon Walker just he tested crazy at the combine. He looks like a freak. He's a really good rush defender, and he has all the tools to be a good pass rusher, but he hasn't really shown that yet.
Right. So if
Personally,
he, yeah,
my edge number one would be Kayvon Thibodeau. I am an
oh
Oregon
yeah,
fan though,
Oregon
so obviously
bias.
I'm a little
Right.
biased, but it's
Of course.
also not only just me like wanting him to be number one because he's an Oregon player. It's just from what I've heard from other people that have scouted these players. It seems like to me that Kayvon is the best and Hutchinson's number two in my in
Right.
my view. But
So
I mean Trayvon has the potential, so
yeah,
I mean
if
might as well
Trayvon
take high
pans out
upside.
to what people think he's gonna be in the league and what he could be, then he'll obviously be worth number one pick. But it just we'll see. You need a good coaching staff. You need people that are gonna develop him. Doug Peterson, the boys. It's not as bad as it's gonna be last year, so you can only get up from here. So we'll take Walker number one, and Hutchinson two. I think would be the lock of the entire draft if he were to fall to two.
I did hear a little bit. I was watching some stuff earlier today. I did hear some rumblings
Okay.
that the Lions are kind of unsure if they want to go Thibodeau or Hutchinson. But I think they probably keep the Michigan kid in Michigan, so I'd probably say Hutchinson.
Well, you heard those rumors. I was hearing rumors that Dan Campbell wasn't a fan of Kayvon's character. Now I don't know if
Oh,
those are
well,
true, but that is just what I was hearing. But
Kayvon did just do an interview in the
okay.
last couple days, so maybe that interview changes mine. I'm not sure if my intel was 100% true, but that's just what I was
I don't know if
hearing
mine
from
was either.
some of
I'm
the
just
stuff I was watching recently.
speaking out. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but I think this is probably the most wide open draft for anything that really happened in years. Because usually before
Yeah,
draft day, you kind of know who's going where, or an
I
idea.
feel like it's more open just due to the fact that the QB class isn't the strongest as it's been in
Yeah.
recent years.
But I also tend to think that Aiden Hutchinson will go to Michigan. Went to Michigan. It's a fit. They need someone like that. They need like a superstar on defense, which they hope they can be. And they'll just
Yeah,
probably stick it out with Goff for another year. And won't be pretty, but we'll see. Maybe next year they'll get a quarterback and really take the next step. All right, moving on to the Texans number three. What are you looking at here?
this is a spot where I could see this is kind of where it opens up a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be Kwanwu, it could be Evan Neal, it could be Kayvon Thibodeau, it could even be. I mean, I don't think they're gonna take a receiver, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Texans.
It's the Texans.
They could take Sauce Gardner too. Don't leave him out.
I
I
mean,
mean, they
they
do need
need
corners.
everything. So whatever
Really,
they
just
take is an
anything on the
upgrade.
board, whatever they value as the highest potential player is probably who they're gonna take.
I think they're going to take
Uh,
one of the tackles. Which tackle, I don't know.
I'm kind of leaning Ikwem Ekwonu
Yeah,
personally, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of throwing a dart for this one. I'd
yeah.
say Kwanwu. I don't know if you agree with that, but
I think all three of the top tackles are all really good, and it just depends what GM values which tackle more than the other. So I don't really know who they value more. I mean, so it could be a Kwanu. We'll go with that because I really have no idea. But I could see any of the three tackles going here, and I wouldn't be shocked. And it's obviously not a bad pick because once the top three tackles are gone, it kind of takes a bit of a leap. So taking Ekonwu at number three. Now at number four, we're on with the New York Jets, who have two top 10 picks. Who do you see them going with at number four?
I kind of see the Jets picking between the top three on our board right now. I think it's either going to be Thibodeau, Gardner, or Evan Neal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure which one they go with off rip here
Yeah, I think they go
because they do got that
receiver
number 10
10,
pick.
but
Yeah,
so
I'm
I
kind of leaning to receiver 10 too. I mean, they don't necessarily do it. Maybe it depends really who's on the board, probably, but
right. Um, I mean, okay, so they have Becton at what? Or he's their left tackle, so they could draft Neal or Cross at their right and just have like both sides protected for Zach Wilson, which he was getting mauled last year, which would obviously help. They could go for defense, Stingley or Gardner. I mean, some people value Stingley more than Gardner. I don't know if I'm one of those people, but I don't know. What do you think they're gonna do?
if I was to guess, I mean, it's the
It's
Jets.
the Jets. They
I'd
make no
say they
mistakes.
go. I just see. I mean, they probably you would assume they value tackle and edge more, so I think they probably either take Thibodeau or Neal here. So
I
I'll
would
leave it
lean
up to you
Neal.
to pick one of those two.
I would lean Neal just to shore up the offensive line and trying to protect Zach as much as they can.
All
So
right,
for
let's
that,
go
I
Neal
would
then.
take Evan Neal, number
And I think
four.
that leaves the Giants to likely probably take Thibodeau after seeing both tackles go. They still could take Cross,
Right.
and
Um.
they could go corner too, but I think they want to go at least one of the lines and maybe even both for these picks.
Yeah, I could see him taking Thibodeau or Sauce here personally. I mean, they could go Cross. I don't know, maybe. But I mean, whatever you think, Sauce, Thibodeau,
I think they're
I
more
would go
likely to
either.
go Thibodeau here, so I say we give them Thibodeau.
All right, so Thibodeau goes to them, and the team that desperately needs a quarterback probably won't take one here is the Panthers.
This is a potential trade back spot though too. I
Yeah,
mean, I could see the Panthers trading back and trying to go pick up one of the QBs a little later and maybe get some more draft capital.
yeah, but let's say they do pick number six. I mean,
They do pick
I
number
could see
six.
him going
Ooh.
Cross.
Yeah, I think Cross makes sense. I mean, Cross probably does just make the most sense here with the board we have.
Yeah, because they need an offensive line. I mean, they're not really protecting any franchise quarterback, but we'll see. Maybe they'll trade back. We don't know what's gonna happen, but for now, we're gonna have them take Cross. On to the Giants again. I think they would go Sauce here.
Yeah, seems like a spot for Sauce to go.
I think it's the top cornerback. I think it'll be a good pick. You get an edge
Yeah, and I
rusher,
also see the
cornerback.
Giants wanting to have their player play next year right away
Yeah,
because they know they're going to get that from Sauce. We don't know when Stingley is going to be back. I believe he's missing the full year, if I'm right.
I'm not sure.
But I mean, even if he isn't, I think it's up in the air when he'll be back. So I think Sauce is the player we go with here.
Yeah, I agreed. On to the Falcons. I think this is Garrett Wilson.
Uh,
They need a
You know,
receiver.
I heard I was watching some stuff earlier, like I said, and I kind of got convinced by somebody. They were saying the Falcons are a team that kind of they would want somebody to take volume. They're gonna need that possession guy that they can just keep on going to
Mm-hmm.
with Kyle Pitts. And if out of the top receivers, that's London. I mean, I could see them take Wilson. I think that's most people's number one receiver, but I don't know if that's necessarily like the best fit for their team. So I'm down to go either Wilson or London here.
Yeah, because right now the Falcons' number one receiver is Olazide Zaccheaus. No offense to him, but that's
Yeah.
scary. So
And
they
also, I
need a
mean,
receiver.
and they also don't know what they're gonna get when Calvin Ridley eventually comes back.
Yeah,
Like, it's gonna be him missing quite a bit of football.
I think they could use an outside threat and a deep threat. That's one reason I would lean Wilson over London.
Okay,
So
let's go Wilson then. So
I'll take Wilson
I'm
at
up for either.
8. Now to your Seahawks. With this board remaining, who would you want them to take? at this
I
point.
would want them to take either Jermaine Johnson or Derek Stingley. I would probably lean Jermaine Johnson,
Okay, the edge out of
but
Florida State.
and I also kind of would think that's who they would probably pick here on this board. So I think we go Jermaine Johnson here.
Okay, so that's your guy. If he falls to 9, that's who you'd want.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, as a Seahawks fan, I would want either Jermaine Johnson or Sauce Gardner. I'd be okay with obviously if Thibodeau or Cross fell to us, or if we pick Stingley. Those are kind of the guys I'm targeting for Seahawks at number 9.
Okay, so number 10, I think this is where London would go personally. And they need a
Yeah,
receiver.
I could see them going London or even Jamison Williams.
Yeah,
Probably
they
one
need
of
a
those.
receiver. They just need a receiver. London's my wide receiver one. USC bias, USC fan. Um, but we'll see. I think he's
Yeah,
big, can catch anything, good route runner. I mean, he's got it all.
I could
So
also, if the Seahawks went a different direction, I could see the Jets taking Jermaine Johnson here, just because they
mm,
also they need edge. I mean,
yeah, they need a lot. But
yeah, very injury prone line over there. So, but I think we give him London. I'm okay with
all right.
giving them London here.
So moving on to the football team, I think they could go a receiver. Maybe they take
Yeah,
Stingley. I
yeah, no, I think the football team, this is another good receiver spot. I don't know if who they value the most. Maybe they see London go and they don't want to do it because he may fit along McLaurin better in their eyes. I don't know who they're valuing more here, but definitely could see them go Jameson Williams,
okay.
and they could go Stingley. But I feel like the football team, they're more of a win now situation. They want to try to win the division. I think they probably go Williams, try to help Wentz out.
Okay, I agree. I think they either go receiver or they go Stingley. Wouldn't be shocked if either happened, but we'll go Williams. And number 12 is the Vikings. I
And I
think
feel
this
like
is where
this is
Kyle
a pretty
Hamilton
easy
goes,
pick. I
right?
could see that, but I think Stinley is
You think Stingley?
I think Stinley goes here
If you're
if I'm
being honest.
drafting here.
All
Yeah,
right.
if I'm keeping it a stack,
That's what we like
I
to
think
do.
the Vikings would be very happy if Stinley fell down to them.
I agree. I mean, I personally think Kyle Hamilton's one of the best players, if not the best player in the draft. He's just not at a super valuable position, in my
Yeah, and I
opinion,
mean
at
Kyle
safety.
Hamilton can do more than just be a safety. He can play slot corner, he can do other things, but I think the
Right.
Vikings just would want that number one cornerback.
And I think Stingley could be the most talented player or cornerback or just overall defensive player in this draft if he doesn't get injured
I
and
mean,
stays
yeah, he
healthy.
was like
Yep,
consensusly, I can't say the
you
word,
got it.
that's okay. He was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to be like the best defender in this class going into this year, and
hmm
unfortunately, he couldn't really play this year. So
Yeah, but we'll take Stingley 12 to the Vikings. I'm sure they'd be happy with that. And then 13. Um, they could do a lot
this is
here,
like a
but
best. This is just a best player available sort of thing for them, and I don't think that means Kyle Hamilton because he is probably the best player available. I think it's probably they'll probably go more value.
hmm
So I could see them maybe going Jordan Davis. I could see them. I wouldn't say Kyle Hamilton's out of the picture here. I could see them going there. I could see them going even like someone like Olave. I
right.
mean, it's really
Uh,
there's a lot of options here. It could be a Devontae Wyatt situation. I mean,
yeah, this is where it gets just to whatever they value the most and who they like the most. This is just kind of throwing darts at a dartboard currently. I I'd be shocked to see Kyle Hamilton drop past this if I'm being honest. I think
all
he
right,
could go
let's
earlier.
go. Let's go Hamilton because I mean it is like a best player situation. He can do more than be a safety. He has value in other spots too. Safeties
Right.
are also becoming a little more valuable in this NFL. So
hmm So we're going on to the Ravens. I think this week we could see Jordan Davis or Zion Johnson go possibly. They need
could also be a
interior
Trent
offensive linemen.
McDuffie spot. That's someone I'm seeing climb people's draft boards.
Yeah,
He's number 20 there. But
yeah, I see him.
I
Just
think we
sticking a short
go.
route.
I
Uh,
think we probably go Jordan Davis here.
Jordan Davis.
I
Yeah,
don't
he's a
know if it's the
freak.
right pick,
So
but he's a freak.
yeah, if he turns out and pans out and is what he looks like he's gonna be, then that's gonna be a scary defensive line and a scary man to block. So I agree. Jordan Davis, number 14, to the Ravens. Moving on to the Eagles, I could see this being Trent McDuffie. They need
Yeah, I agree
cornerbacks.
there. I think we just go Trent McDuffie here.
All right. Saints, I think this is an Olave, personally.
Yeah, that just makes sense. Get the Ohio State guy. The Saints like their Ohio State, so
Yeah.
just throw them Olave.
And then we go to the Chargers. I could see Johnson. I could see Penning. And just,
Mm,
I think any offensive lineman really. I mean, unless they could go linebacker. Devin Lloyd maybe. I don't
yeah,
know.
this is a spot where I do see Trent McDuffie and some corners go off a lot here. I know a lot of people don't like Trevor Penning. I don't know how the perception of teams are on him exactly. I don't know if he's gonna get overlooked in the drafts, go fall some or what, but
Yeah. So what do you
this could
think?
also be Devontae Wyatt too. They do need a defensive end, or a defensive tackle.
So what do you think? Do you think they go offense tackle to Breck Burrow, or do you think they go stack up that D line more and go someone like
This was the
Wyatt?
board they have. I could see them potentially trading down maybe, but I'm cool with either Penning or Devontae Wyatt here.
I personally think they'll go to Penning just to maybe sure up that to
Yeah.
protect Herbert, their franchise guy. So for that, I would go Penning. Back to the Eagles at 18. Ah, jeez,
This could be a
could be a
this could
lot of
be a
things.
George Karlaftis spot. It could be a Daxton Hill. I know a lot of people think Daxton Hill could be pretty good.
I mean, they could draft some irrelevant receiver too that no one really is thinking of, like maybe Jahan Dotson. I mean, that's an Eagles move through and through.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean that is an Eagles type of move. Zion Johnson also is definitely in play here too.
yeah, there's a lot in play for this team.
But
I like George, if I'm being honest. I think he'd be a good fit. They need an edge rusher,
yeah,
make their defense
I'm
a
down to
lot
I'm down
better.
to go George here. Let's go George.
Right out of Purdue, George Karlaftis. What a name. Back to the Saints. A lot of double picks in the first round. I think Zion, maybe.
What
Wyatt.
is their inside? I don't know exactly how good the inside of their O line is. I don't believe Zion Johnson can slot out to a tackle, and I don't know who, if any of the inside O linemen can on the Saints and what they're really working with, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay, so for that,
But
I mean Wyatt maybe.
yeah, I mean it could be a Wyatt spot. It could be
I'll scroll down a little
actually let's
bit.
go to I kind of want to go Daxton Hill
Daxton Hill. Where's
here.
that? Oh, right there, the safety out of Michigan.
Yeah, I think this could be a good Daxton Hill spot. They need a safety. I've been hearing some good things about him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's go Daxton Hill.
All right. Okay, the Steelers. I think
I
we might see
think
our first quarterback off the board here.
Yeah, and this is the team that's been talking about Malik Willis as or that's been rumored to have Malik Willis as their guy, right?
Yeah, and I think he's the number one in a lot of people's eyes, most people's eyes in the quarterbacks. And I'm sure if he fell to 20, they'd be ecstatic. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if someone traded up before 20 to get Malik Willis. But
Yeah,
if
I
it
think
does
if we were
fall,
doing a trades mock draft here, we may have had somebody try to trade up to one of the spots
trade with the
from like
Saints or Eagles, maybe.
12 to like 18. Yeah.
Yeah. But if he does fall there, then that's where I'd see him
Yeah.
going.
I
All
think
right.
that's exactly what the Steelers would be hoping for.
Yeah. So that'd be the first quarterback off the board for us. Moving on to the
I
Patriots.
think this is probably the Zion Johnson spot.
Yeah, they could do anything here. They'll just develop him, and they'll be a Hall of Famer one day because that's
Yeah,
what
I
the
mean it could
Patriots
be
do.
Devin
So
Lloyd, it could be Kenyon Green. It could be a few things. I mean, Devontae Wyatt.
I could see the Patriots doing something where it's not someone like super obvious. Maybe
I could see them
Nakobe
maybe they're in
Dean,
love with N'Kobe Dean over
maybe like
Devin
there's
Lloyd.
yeah. There's a lot of different things like Quay Walker. I mean, they could do
Yeah,
something
Quay
wild.
Walker. Yeah, I mean, but I mean they got someone that's fallen to them that is high up there on some draft boards. So I think we just go Zion Johnson here.
I agree. Um, so we're gonna pick Zion for the Patriots. Moving on to the Packers. I mean, you would think they take a receiver, but you never know. And if they were, I
Wouldn't
think
be
it'd be
surprised if
Ruggs.
they do wait until the second round to take a receiver. I think it's probably most likely they take the receiver with their second first round pick.
right?
I mean, it depends on the board. In this board, I could see them. They could go Devontae Wyatt. Maybe they take Kenyon Green. It could be Devin Lloyd too.
I could see him
I see
taking
hovering
Lloyd.
over him.
Yeah, I mean he's speaking to me for some reason. I could see him going to the Packers. They need a linebacker. They just lost what's his name? Zadarius Smith, right?
Yep.
So they could use another linebacker. So for here, I think I'd go Devin Lloyd,
Yeah, I'm okay with Devin Lloyd. Yeah.
and then on to the Cardinals.
This definitely could be another corner spot. Either Kyer Elam or Andrew Booth.
Yeah, Andrew Booth, he was in the national championship. I'm pretty sure he made some plays. I remember that name, so that's good.
Yeah,
I know names.
they could try to replace Christian Kirk too. They do have they got some receivers still, but
Yeah.
I think we probably want to go corner here
So what do you
for
think,
being
Booth or
real
Elaine?
here.
I think I would lean Booth, but I'm not really familiar with Elaine if I'm being honest. So
You know, I don't know enough about either of them to say definitively which one I think's better, so let's go Booth.
all right, on to the boys, America's team. I think they just draft the
How about
best
my
offensive
boys?
lineman available, and for here it'd be Kenyon Green. That's what I think.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
And the Bills. They could use a cornerback, a receiver to replace Beasley. I mean, their team's
Yeah,
stacked, so
it's probably a skill position spot with the team they have. They want to try to take that next step.
for that I think Burks. Do you agree? Do you think they'd
It could be
reach for
Traylon
someone?
Burks. I'm cool with either Traylon Burks or maybe a Kyrie Elam. Elam.
Mm,
It
I'll,
could be a Linderbaum spot too.
yeah. Oh boy.
Out of those three in
I'd
my eyes.
personally go Burks because I think they
All
want to
right.
give Allen the most weapons he can have and just keep that offensive threat because they have, you know, Sean McDermott, who's an absolute beast on
Hank.
the coach in front. Moving on to the Titans. A lot of people have them taking a corner. Some people have them taking a quarterback. I just
Yeah,
wouldn't do that.
I don't see them taking a first round quarterback
I
here. I
wouldn't do
think
that
they
at
want
all.
to take more of a competing move. I don't think they're gonna Packers this.
You would hope not, but you never know.
Uh, and when it comes to that, maybe this is Nakobe Dean. Maybe this could be a Sky Moore, Jahan Dotson.
Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, they got a few routes to go.
for receiver, I mean, they got Woods. They lost Tulio, which he didn't really make the biggest impact anyways.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would be more inclined to go with like Nakobe Dean, maybe Quay Walker.
I like a Quay Walker. I mean, I could see that. A linebacker, Georgia, national champion.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm more of a Nakobe Dean fan myself, but I'm perfectly fine with going Quay Walker.
All right, we'll go Quay, and then we're going on to the Brady-led Bucks. What else could they use? I mean,
I
Jesus.
think this is the Linderbaum spot probably
Yeah, if Linderbaum falls, I do agree that
because
Linderbaum.
he's a top player in this class. He doesn't play the most valuable like position
Right,
necessarily. So
I agree. So this is where you think the Packers would take a receiver, 28.
yeah, I could definitely see them do it. I mean, there's even a chance they don't. Maybe they could like one of the other players. I mean,
Yeah, they could go edge with Mafe from Minnesota. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do. Maybe this is where they go with Jobo. I mean, they could
yeah,
do
this could be
anything.
the Jabo spot. I mean, he was someone that was projected to go very high, and then he got the injury, of course.
I mean, I'm down with the Jobo. Maybe as like a project and see if he reaches his potential. Maybe for now.
Yeah, I mean, I could see. I'm down. I'm okay with that.
All right. I'm sure Packers fans will be happy with what we did with their
Yeah, no,
offensive
I
line.
don't. I
It's the
you know, and
Packers.
if you're a Packers fan watching this, you know, it's
No
not anything
offense.
against you guys.
Your
It's
front office
just the
sucks.
history you presented us.
All right.
And I mean, I by no means is David Ojabo a bad pick. I mean, that's someone that was
No.
supposed to go around 10.
Yeah.
Obviously could not be the same after an injury, but
It's
I
just
mean,
the
that's still
upside.
that's a good upside pick.
All right, moving on to the Chiefs, I think they take a receiver after losing. I mean, I just don't think they're content with MVS and Juju, personally.
Yeah.
So I could see him going Dotson, Sky Moore. Just
Yeah, they probably definitely do want another receiver. I could see the Chiefs being the team to take uh what's
Watson.
his Christian Watson. Yep, there we go.
Yeah,
Because he did have a freak combine. That is the player. He is the
but
one
I
that
could
had
see
the freak
George
combine,
picking
right?
anyone
He's
too.
6'6" and ran like a 3.3. That is him, right? I'm not losing my
You're asking the
mind.
wrong person, but that's if that sounds right.
Let me quickly
All right,
check myself here
you
because
can do that, and
I
I'll go
hope I'm
through some
not
other
going insane.
receivers. Sean Ryan, someone else. A lot of people go in the first round. He's an interior offensive lineman. I don't know if the Chiefs would pick that, but that's someone we could see going around this time. Matt Corral maybe for a late pick if someone wanted to trade up into the first round. There's a few running backs here. This is the most like I mean running backs I think are losing value every year. There is good running backs for teams that don't have running backs. Kind of the Walker, Brees Hall, but
Yeah. I will say I'm pretty sure this is the freak at wide receiver. Yeah, he ran a 4.36 40-yard dash. He's 6'5", 6'4".
that
I
sounds like a
mean,
Chief.
that sounds
Like
like
a
someone the
freak.
Chiefs would probably take a shot on. To me, they'd want to take someone that maybe Mahomes could mold into his guy, and he's a freak. That's like could be their DK Metcalf potentially, like someone that's
Yeah,
just a big target that can run.
I agree. Good pull. Christian Watson, number 29 to the Chiefs. Now we're back to the Chiefs. Um, well,
This could be the Kyer Elam spot. It
they
could
do
be
need a quarterback. They just lost
really
Tre'Davious
just
Ward.
best player available. I mean, they could go Louis Sign maybe. I think it's more likely
I think it's a
they
lane.
go Kyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm
Bengals.
saying his name right.
I have no idea. We're getting close enough.
I'm
Um,
giving it a shot.
the Bengals. What could the Bengals do? I can go sign here.
Yeah,
Uh,
this isn't a bad sign. Even
Brisker.
Brisker.
I mean maybe Devonte Wyatt finally goes off.
Yeah, it
Just
is
the
kind of crazy that Devontae Wyatt's still here. I think maybe they just see him at this value, at this
hmm
spot, and they probably just pull the trigger on him.
yeah. I mean even if they don't necessarily need it like a badly, it's just like he's a really
I
good
kind of forgot
player.
he was still on the board.
Things happen in the
That's
draft. Things
yeah.
will
I mean,
happen.
and that's the one thing about the draft. Obviously, there's probably going to be someone crazy that gets picked in the first round.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean the
it happens
Raiders
every
don't have a
year.
first round pick, but they would have done some bullshit.
They'll probably influence somebody. I mean,
Yeah, they'll get in someone's ear like this guy's really good. Trust
and
me.
for our last pick here for our mock draft, what do we have the Lions doing? They could go
They
QB.
could go
They could
QB and
go.
build for next year and just have him sit behind sorry
I mean, I
golf.
could see them being happy with seeing like a Kenny Pickett on the board. Maybe they like Matt Corral or Ritter
Yeah, if I were them, I'd
or
go
even
Pickett
Howell.
or how. I mean, yeah, all the quarterbacks here they're around the same for me. I mean, I don't have any of these last four ahead of the others, just from where they
Yeah,
are
I
the
could see
most.
the Panthers maybe trading into one of these spots here, taking Pickett. There was a rumor that they liked Pickett.
Yeah. So,
Um,
what do you
if they
think?
don't go QB, they could go really anywhere. I mean, it could be Sky Moore, it could be Louis Sign. I don't know. I mean, do you want to go QB in the first round for them, or do you want to make that a second round thing for them?
I say we go QB. To end it off with some spice. Just which QB are we thinking? I think personally they'd go Matt Corral. I think they might see him with the most value, like the most like potential out of these quarterbacks. Especially if the Panthers would trade up, which we don't have them doing, but we're not doing trades, so
Mm,
I mean, I mean, they could go pick it. Ritter. I
yeah,
don't
I
agree with
mean,
Ritter at all, but I
I
think Ritter's
say,
the worst.
I'm down to take a Matt Corral shot.
All right, let's do it. Let's see how long it takes us to find Matt Corral. Not very long. All right, so to round out our mock draft for the first round, will be Matt Corral to the Lions.
I'm pretty happy with our mock draft. There's going to be weird picks that are probably thrown in there, throw everyone's mock drafts off. There's never anyone's going to have a perfect
Mm-hmm.
mock draft. So
Yeah, and we never know. Maybe
we,
Deebo is a Jet by tomorrow this time, so that'll throw
yeah, I mean,
everything
this
off.
10th pick could be the 49ers. I mean, there's a lot that could change.
Yeah.
Although if I'm the Jets, I don't trade my 10th and fourth pick for anybody right now. You kind of need those to
It's the
build a team
Jets.
up.
They
But
need they've
it's the Jets at the end of the day.
they want a receiver worse than anything in the world, so they'll do whatever it takes. I think currently, so we'll see. Maybe they get desperate and they're just like, here, take everyone. And the Jets, they're the 49ers get a haul. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see. But that's our mock draft. Will it pan out? Probably not. Will it get close? Probably not. But we tried. So you're welcome.
I think we could have a pretty good top 10.
I believe. I believe. But so for some reason, what stands out the most is just Booth to the Cardinals just looks so
That looks
likable.
like a
That
Cardinals
just looks like a
player.
Cardinals name, like the junior. The I just yeah, I like it. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with what we did. Maybe somehow we just had the best mock drafts of all time.
I
Probably not,
believe.
but
Cross my fingers.
we gave it a
And
try.
currently, I think we are going to be live tomorrow for the first round. I'll be there for the first, well, everything pretty much probably, unless the second round gets real boring. Is the first and second tomorrow? I don't even know. If it's just the first, then for sure. If they try to do some bullshit and get like the second round, it might get a little long, but
I've lost my
we'll see.
mind. I couldn't tell you if day one. I'm pretty sure day one's just the first round, but I don't know. I think day two's second and third round.
That sounds right. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be live. We'll see what happens in the first round. We'll be here covering
I
it.
could be off
Sports
the rock
analyst.
there. It is. We are doing a 3:50 in the morning recording here.
Yeah, that's life.
The head could be a little. It could be a little cloudy.
Yeah, we'll get it done though. Hard workers. All right, moving on from our mock draft to more NFL stories. Uh, Deebo Samuel, um,
Deebo.
my former guy.
Deeb.
Um, he was probably my favorite player on the team. You know,
Samuel.
big fan, 49ers fan here. And now this is what's come to. It looks like he's gone. We don't know where. We don't know why. We don't know how. I've heard it had something to do with his incentives. That he was close to getting receiving incentives, and they turned him into a running back, so he wouldn't get it. I find that bullshit personally. I mean, I he was the most valuable player for our team and for most people's teams. If he could play running back well and receiver, I mean, who wouldn't want that? I mean, I don't even think he tried to negotiate a contract with the Niners. He just didn't want to play for them anymore. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, he's as good as gone. I just want as much as we can get for him. I wish he would sign, but I am not going to sign him for like the biggest wide receiver contract if he's not going to be like hybrid flex anymore between the two positions.
You definitely don't want to just keep him and end up just watching him walk and have that whole situation maybe lose his value as time goes on because everyone knows he's leaving. So
Yeah, it seems like the Niners
probably
don't want
best
to
that
trade
the
anything.
Niners just
So
maximize the value. Although the Niners seem, yeah, like you said, it seems like they almost want to just try to keep him and fix it. Which I mean, if they could fix it, could be good.
if they could fix it,
But
fine. But I don't want to sign him to some massive extension and then have him just play receiver, where he's definitely not going to be as valuable as his contract's going to be. I mean, he's definitely a good receiver, a top receiver. But what really put him over the top was the fact that he could literally play running back just as good as any running back. I mean, his
yeah,
stats
it's an
is
interesting
insane.
situation. I don't think many people saw this coming.
Yeah, it seems like
I definitely didn't,
all these receivers this year
being a
decided to
Seahawks
be
fan.
just prima donnas and just be like, I don't. Let's go somewhere else. AJ Brown. I mean, DK Metcalf really. I mean, there was rumors he doesn't want to leave, but it's just
Oh, hold
rumors.
on though.
Rumors.
Let's shut those down
Rumor and
though, because
innuendo.
DK has said he wants to be a Seahawk and he has no plans of leaving. So that's my
Well,
guy
it's
right
gonna be tough for a
there.
while, but
Like, let's give it up for DK, but he's not a diva like
yeah,
Debo.
one
It's my
man round
guy.
of applause. Yeah. Well,
That's
him and
my
Drew
guy.
Lock are gonna be a deadly duo next year. We'll see how
Hell
that
yeah, they
goes.
are.
But yeah,
Hell
Debo.
yeah, they are. Geno Smith may even come in and throw a pass every once in a while.
Well, we know what he can do. He's a star. But yeah, it's looking like the Jets would give up the biggest haul if he was to get traded, unless we do something with Deebo and Jimmy G in a package for a lot
Maybe
of
a team
stuff from
like
the
the Panthers.
Panthers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only team I could see even doing the package with them too. I mean, no one else really would want Jimmy G currently, so we'll see. As far as I'm
It's a
concerned, he's
weird
gone.
situation in San Francisco, to say the least.
Yeah, and if we are gonna trade him, can we please do it in the next 12 hours so I don't have to sit here and have this guy not play or just
Yeah,
Just sit
if
out.
you, it would make sense that if the 49ers plan on trading them, that they would do it before the draft because they
Yeah.
probably want a pick, and you probably want the pick to be like picking during the draft. You don't
Yeah.
want to,
No,
yeah.
we
I
don't want
mean,
to wait for
yeah.
next year's draft to make them. Like, that'd be the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. But John Lynch isn't a trader. He just wants to keep everyone and make everyone happy. It's not working. We'll see. Let's get to his stats. He came in the league in 2019. I think he was a second round pick. His rookie year, I mean, he did what he was supposed to do to the 800 yards. I mean, that's a good rookie year. 14 average, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he was really good. They got themselves a guy. 2020 happened. He was injured. The whole team was injured. Just kind of a write off year. And then 2021, he comes out and it is, I would call him the best weapon in football. I mean, no one could do what he was doing. He had 1,400 yards receiving, 365 rushing, 8 rushing touchdowns. This isn't even counting the playoff. What he did in the playoffs. I mean, it's. I think he was the best weapon in football last year. Do you agree? Disagree? Bring him.
Personally, I'll say I don't know if I'd go as far as the best weapon in football, but he had an amazing season last year. As a Seahawks fan, I would like to see him leave the Niners. It's a
Right.
good decision from my point of view to see him go. Just
I mean, you just love to see the
the
Brandon
him
Ayuk
and
ran Niners. I mean, you don't even know.
I Brandon Ayuk is
Mm-hmm.
he could be
Right.
good. He's out there, but he's
Mohamed
not
Sanu.
Deebo.
Don't
And
forget about him.
Debo and I'm losing
Mm-hmm.
Debo and
Yep.
how is he
Okay.
escaping me?
You got this.
How is
Lock in. Take your time. Mm-hmm.
I'm
What are we thinking about here? Just give me a nice idea of what we're thinking about.
I'm really losing my
Okay.
mind here. I don't know if it's the time of the day or
Mm-hmm.
what it is,
It's
but I
early.
am forgetting the name
Of
of the tight end.
George Kittle.
There we go.
You're
There
welcome.
he is. George, I did
Wow.
not want to see George Kittle and Debo paired together for the seasons
Years
to
to come.
come. So, I'm perfectly okay with seeing Debo one out.
I would love to see Deebo stay if he would continue to play out the role he was, but if he does wants to be a receiver and he wants to get paid all that money, I don't know if I'm willing to do that, especially if we can get a ransom from the Jets, which is the only possibility currently it looks like. So if that happens, then I'm okay. So let's go into the odds to see what the odds book, the bookmakers, have it happening. It says, where will Deebo play in week one? Right now, the Niners are the favorites at minus 200, followed by the Jets plus 300, the Colts plus 600, Chiefs plus 900, followed by the Saints, Packers, Falcons, Ravens, Titans at all plus 1,000.
In your
Uh,
personal opinion, do you think that opening day, do you think it's most likely that you see Debo in a Niners uniform or somewhere else?
I mean, right now it just looks so unlikely. I mean, nothing's been pointing in the direction of, oh, he's gonna stay. I mean, we don't know what's happening in the conversations. Just what I've been reading and seeing, it just doesn't look likely at all. And if we don't
Other
trade him
than the people in
tomorrow,
the
it's
front
like,
office, though, right? Haven't they been pretty vocal about we want to keep Debo
yeah,
on this
they
team?
they don't want to trade him at all. They have
And
no
Debo's been
interest in
pretty
trading him.
vocal about I don't want to be here, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
so it's just either side doesn't want to move from their current
You,
stand. So it's
and
just
you definitely don't want to go in and try to repair an unrepairable relationship. You don't want to see Debo go out there, not try for your team, have his
or even
trade value
play.
get super low. Yeah, I mean,
You get
who knows
elbows.
if he decides to sit, he could decide to sit out. He could decide not to go that hard. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
it's
things that could happen that really screw the Niners over here
like
if
he
they
could
don't
sit out
make a
until
move.
like the season starts, like not even do training camp, nothing without a contract. I mean, he could basically just hold him hostage until they give him what he wants, which would be a lot of money. Which I mean, I'd be willing to pay him if he would continue to play the role he did last year. But if he wants to just be a receiver, I don't see his value being at that much money. And I don't really agree with paying position players unless it's like Calvin Johnson, the most money on your team pretty much. I mean, they're very easy to come by, especially a running back. I mean, how many running backs have the Niners been through in the past few years? I mean, it's just a revolving door of people. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of paying skill position players that much money, but we'll see.
Yeah, and then also another question here is if Deebo does leave, and we're not just talking about what the Niners want back necessarily, like if a team wants him bad enough, they can make it happen. Out of these teams right here, what team do you see the most likely to take that leap to just go get a receiver because they want to either contend or they just want a receiver in the Jets case?
Yeah, well, the obvious answer is the Jets. I mean, they've been trying to get everyone. They had rumors of DK, rumors of Brown, rumors of Deebo, rumors of Devontae. I mean, they try to get every receiver. And I mean, if they don't do a big package for Deebo, I don't think they're going to get that big receiver because I don't think AJ Brown's going anywhere. I don't think DK's going anywhere. Debo's the only one up in the air. So if I'm not counting the Jets, because I think that's by far the most likely. I mean, you look at the odds. It has the Colts. I mean, the Colts desperately need receivers. I mean, now it's Michael Pittman versus the world, and but I don't know what they would trade for Deebo. I don't know if it'd be enough for them to do it. The Niners. I mean, the Chiefs. That'd be terrifying if he went to the Chiefs.
I was
But
just kind of thinking about it in my head, and I was like, damn, the Chiefs really do got two first round picks, huh? They could
yeah,
really just flip the end of the draft for Deebo Samuel potentially, which I could see the Niners accepting too. I mean, that's two first. I mean, it is late round, but this is a deep draft.
right. And I would be very happy if we did that. If that's what we did, I mean, I would send him to the Chiefs. I mean, I'm sorry to the league, but for my team personally, I would love two first.
Also,
But
the Packers, you got two first too. I could see them giving up one this year, maybe one like a second or one next
yeah,
year, whatever it's gonna take there too. I mean, those are definitely two teams I could see. I do think the Colts are probably a team that would try to do a lot to get there because I think they want to win pretty
they have a
bad.
win now team. They just don't have the weapons to win now.
And if they added Deebo Samuel to that team, I mean that team would be really good.
I don't know
I
why
mean
the
Jonathan
Colts.
Taylor
Yeah,
and Deebo Samuel on offense, and then plus that defense with Matt Ryan, who could potentially like he could have a pretty good year there, especially with that Deebo.
yeah. I don't know why the Colts don't go harder for trades and free agency because they have the team built. They just need the weapons around it. And if they get Debo along with Pittman, that's a really good one-two combo. And I think
Yeah.
they'd be like one of, if not the favorites in the whole entire AFC to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, personally, if I was running the league and I could just pick what I wanted to happen, I would send Deebo to the Colts. I think that would be the funnest opportunity to just
Yeah,
like make the league more competitive and just like a good place all overall for everything. So
I agree.
that would be where I want him to go.
I just don't know if the Colts are willing to trade anything because they're pretty stingy with picks. They love their picks. They love all this. I mean,
Yeah.
aside for Wentz, which was god awful, but yeah,
It happens. My pick though for who I think he goes to, I don't think it will be the Jets. I think my top two would be the Chiefs and the Packers, unfortunately.
yeah. I mean that could happen. I just think the Jets would give the Niners the best packages. That's why I'm saying the Jets is the most likely because I think they're willing to give the most. I read something yesterday. I don't know how true it is. It was like the 10th pick, the 30th pick, a third round pick, and next year's second round pick, and Elijah Moore for Debo. But the only thing holding the trade back was Elijah
That
Moore. So
that would be ridiculous. That would be crazy
yeah,
if
and
the
I
Jets.
don't know if that's true. I could just be talking on my ass, or that
I
guy's
there's
fake. But
I mean
I don't
I
know.
think that in my opinion the Jets I just don't see them trading one of their first this year for him. I just don't see their team's just not in a position to do that. I don't know if they're smart enough to
It's the Jets,
realize
Moles.
that,
It's the
but
Jets.
maybe Robert Saleh has that team in a different state right now, and they're just gonna take their picks and run, which I
Yeah,
think is probably just their best move.
it's probably their
So
best
yeah,
move, but it's the damn Jets, and they do whatever it takes. I mean, they're just trying to get people in the building, people to
they're a team
watch, a
in New
fun
York,
team.
they're gonna try to make a splash potentially, but uh, I just see the Chiefs and the Packers as serious, like we want them teams, and I think the Jets could be capping.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow night. I think if we don't trade him by the draft tomorrow, I don't know what the fuck we do. Why would we keep him at post? Why would we trade him post draft for like what? It doesn't make sense. So I think if we don't trade him tomorrow, we'll end up keeping him and see what happens with that. But moving on from Deebo and that whole fiasco, we're gonna go to today's NBA games, which weren't the greatest. I mean, the Nuggets Warriors game was all right, but we're moving on to the Bulls Bucks box scores. This is the what happened to the Bulls. Patrick Williams really
Not
showed
a
out.
good
You know,
game from DeMar DeRozan,
no, not at all.
unfortunately.
Not
Someone
is that?
that I think most NBA fans would want to root for because he's just a likable guy, but unfortunately, just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, can you remind me who the Jay Green is on this team? Is that?
Wait, who? What? Jay Green? My,
Yeah, I mean, you yeah,
oh,
27 minutes.
oh.
Who is that? Is that
Um,
that's
I
Jamichael Green?
believe it's. I think his name's John. Oh man, what's his? Oh, this is a bad look too, because I know every NBA player, and I'm
I
really
put you
blowing the
on the
bag
spot. I'm
here. I
sorry,
believe
but
it's a rookie this year. I think his name's like Jonte. Oh, I'm
while you
choking.
look it up, I'm just gonna go
Who
over what
is
he
it?
did today. He went one for
Yeah.
8, 0 for 5 from threes, 3 points, played 27 minutes, and I mean, I would say I know about 98% of NBA players, and I have no clue who the hell that is.
Oh, I don't know why I said Jonte or I meant it's Javante Green,
Javante
but
Green.
you know, I know who he is. He's a
He's,
I think he's actually
you
had
know,
a pretty solid rookie year for
besides this game, take this
what
game
he
out of
was.
it.
Yeah, I mean
Holy
he's
shit.
a
I
young
mean,
buck,
holy fuck. Wait a second.
and it's not a definitely not his rookie year either. I just kind of thought about it in my head,
But yeah, yeah, scroll
but this
that.
is like his
He had
first real
7 steals.
opportunity of basketball.
What the
He
hell?
had 7 steals, Jesus.
What kind
You know,
of
I just sound
box
like a
score is
buffoon
this?
right there, I will admit. But
I don't know what
yeah,
happens.
Javante Green.
7 steals. So is this guy Kawhi Leonard reincarnated? Who is this guy? Seven
He's
steals.
Cousins. You know, that's his pal Kawhi.
That's
He's
ludicrous.
he's a
Good
fan of
on him.
Ludacris actually.
Probably. So no Zach Levine. Obviously, he was dealing with a knee injury. I think that he's gonna get surgery on soon. So that doesn't help when you don't have their second best player. But I mean, Patrick Williams played good in this series, so that's good. The flower man. Good to see him play well. I mean,
Yep,
Vucevic
big
did his
old flower
thing.
man.
I mean, they're just done. I mean, they didn't really have a chance in my eyes ever. I mean, they just kind of got blown out 3 straight games, and that was it. The Bucks move on, going on to the Bucks box score. Giannis did his thing, missed 4 shots. I think he was like 8 for 9 in at the first half, so he kind of
Yeah.
shut these boys out.
Yeah,
Which,
nothing else really sticks out to me besides Pat Connaughton, or Connaughton, Jesus,
right?
and Grayson Allen. They both had good games off the bench, which they're gonna need without Middleton. So
Yeah,
hopefully they can get that production for their sake against the good old Celtics
yeah. Without
to make that a good
Middleton,
series.
it's gonna be hard against the Celtics, especially if Drew Holiday's not playing up to like a second star level.
Yeah,
Cause
they're gonna need Drew Holiday to be their shot creator, and they're gonna need players like Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen to step up and give that fire, that punch off the bench.
yeah, it'll be a really good series. I wish Middleton was playing. He's not, but yeah, the Bucks move on. The Bulls get eliminated. Speaking of the Bulls, we're gonna go on to their team salary and what they could do or what they're gonna try to do in the next offseason to
Their future
improve.
holds.
Yeah. So Vucevic they got for another year. I mean, they pretty much are also in like a Hawk situation, somewhat where like their core is kind of locked. I mean, I don't know how much salary cap they have currently, but
Yeah, but I mean, basically, this team rides on
I mean they don't have Zach
Zach
Levine,
LaVine.
right? Yeah, if he resigns or not.
Yeah, and even without Zach LaVine, I think they can have some cap space, but not like max contract space or anything.
Yeah, so I don't know what they could add. I mean, they didn't have Lonzo Ball for like half the season, I think, if not more. He was out the entire time, so that didn't help. Caruso didn't play a lot. I mean, they're looking for what? Kobe White to maybe improve into like a really good bench
Yeah, they would
player,
need.
and Williams to improve.
Yeah, they would probably need Patrick Williams to take a step. Kobe White, Ao Desum. It's been a
Yep,
while since I've said his name.
something like that. Desunamu, just something like that.
No, it
Desu Desunamu
Desumu, Ao
Desumu
Desumu. No,
Desumanu
it's something like that. At the end
Desumu
of the, it's something. I
Demunusu.
haven't watched many Bulls games this
Okay.
year. I did. I used to know how to say his name, but it's been
It
a
was
while.
it was probably one of the 20 things we said
It is
before.
Ao, I believe,
Ao
unless Io, maybe Io.
Donosumu
Shit. Well,
Dosunumu.
he had a good rookie year.
Right.
He's someone that could maybe take a step, and they're gonna need some players to take steps for this team to really take a step forward.
Yeah, maybe they could add like some really nice bench pieces to
Maybe
this
Zach
team.
Levine he would have to take a large, like if he comes, if he becomes the absolute man,
Hmm.
this team could make some good noise.
Yeah, I still again with this team I see him as like a playoff team that's
Good playoff team that
good
could give
playoff team.
some teams fights that will probably not ever get past the second round.
Unless White develop really nicely and they
Yeah,
add like
they would
nice
need
role
some help,
players on the bench,
or they would
maybe.
need to pull off some trade that I just don't really see right now.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's the Bulls. Good luck to the
that's the
Bulls.
Bulls.
Moving on to the late game of what was yesterday? Wednesday. Late game on Wednesday. Love them. The Nuggets. They go out in Game Five. I never thought they had a chance. I mean, Jokic is a great player. Some say he's the best center in the league. Most people say he's the best center in the league. Am I on that side? Maybe at a later
Should
date to
be if you're not.
discuss. Um, but they go out in five. Jokic tried in the end. He was making everything he put up, and they just couldn't get it done with
Hey, and
the
DeMarcus
Warriors.
Cousins came in and said, "I'll be the second guy for Jokic," even though they can't really play together. But
Yeah,
DeMarcus Cousins went out there and he played he hooped.
he hooped. He's. I don't know why teams always sign him and cut him. He's always played good wherever he's been signed to. It's just they cut him for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna bring the best defense or like maybe all the extra, but
He's a good scorer.
he's a
Gives you
solid
heart.
little bench piece.
Will get in a fight or two if you need him to. Like, I mean,
He'll
who
mean
wouldn't want
mug
that?
somebody maybe, or maybe even two
Every team
people.
needs a guy like that. I mean, they need some passion. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean he's a character. He'll be even bringing probably some extra fans just because he's a name. But
hmm
the Nuggets they were just in an unfortunate situation this year, and as we'll see, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to their contracts. But Jokic he went out with a fight.
he fought.
It,
He did fight. But the Warriors were just too good. Their
the
team,
Warriors are looking scary.
yeah, it's looking frightening. I mean, they started all three of their guards today,
They're
and
just it's just a weird team. It's like no matter what they do, it seems like they're gonna be good. And
yeah,
I mean, there's Warrior fans that don't give Steve Kerr much credit, and they don't think he's a great coach. But I mean, Steve Kerr just has this team always playing so well.
hmm
It's just they never seem to miss a step.
yeah, they got their core still, of course. Green, Curry, Thompson. They've added Wiggins in recent years. Jordan Poole has developed into a really, really good player. Now that it looks like Kaminga might do the same. I mean,
We could at least take
it's
one of the reallys out of there.
okay. We'll go really good player. I'll go back. And then Gary Payton.
Poole has definitely developed into a good player. Poole or Gary Payton, just a great
Basically
defender.
closed the game out today,
Andrew Wiggins has turned into a really solid defender throughout his time
and an
here,
all-star starter, might I add.
and an all-star starter.
Never forget.
Porter's a good role player. He
He's
didn't have the
there.
best
He's
game
definitely
today,
there.
but
He's on the team.
yeah, I mean this team is just they're scary.
Very scary. No Iguodala for about a week.
Interesting to see Juan Toscano Anderson not getting play time. I think he
It's
may have had a
shocking.
worse season this year. Uh, I think I've heard some Warriors fans like disappointed in him this year, but he's a dog. Every team wants some dogs,
Yeah, he also
but
wears number 95, which is
that's a dog
scary. That's a
number.
dog number. That's you got to have an obscure number if you're gonna be a dog. That's a dog number. I don't make the rules.
He's
So
probably barked a few times out there on the courts, to say
right.
the least.
But yeah, the Warriors got
Yeah,
it
the
done.
Warriors,
They got
they're
it
looking
done.
good.
They're moving on. They're gonna face. Whew. Let me get this. Let me get this.
You
Let
don't
me hold
miss.
on. I got this. They're gonna face either the Grizzlies or the Timberwolves in the next round. And
No, they're
no, they're
gonna.
not. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, that is gonna happen.
Okay,
Just
what
prank
the
you.
fuck?
Just
Okay,
got you
so they're
good.
gonna face the Grizzlies or the Timberwolves. I think they beat the absolute dog piss out of either of those teams. I don't even think it'll be close.
Yeah,
Personally, I think it'll be
I
five or
hope it's
six.
close because I do like watching the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, more so the Grizzlies, but they're just
Yeah,
cool young teams.
it's a they're in
So
a
it'd
real
be nice to
emotional
see a good
series.
series against them,
They're gonna
but
come off that series and they oh we won, we're good, and then they're gonna come in here and be just they're not gonna be ready for the dubs.
maybe
Personally,
the dog and some of the players on those teams will keep them in check.
We'll
I mean,
see.
they got there's a dog over there in Memphis who goes by the name of Dylan Brooks. There's
Right.
another dog over there by the name of Desmond Bain,
And then the biggest dog of them
and
all,
they may
Patrick Beverly
have
on the Timberwolves.
and the biggest dog of them all over there on the
Hmm.
Timberwolves,
The
Patrick
big dog.
Beverly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think this either of those series would be close. Maybe I'm just an idiot. My predictions are already chalked, so what do I know? But
I
we're
don't.
gonna.
I'm either confusing this with Memphis was getting slapped by Golden State this year, but I think Memphis may have been beating the shit out of Golden State this year, if I remember right.
I couldn't tell you. It sounds like something that could have
I think,
happened. I mean, the Grizzlies did have
and I
a really
will
good regular
say
season.
that I obviously I believe the Warriors are winning against either team, but I think the Grizzlies are. I think that's not a terrible matchup for them. I think that's a team that the Grizzlies can play well against, but I see the Warriors coming out on top against either
Yeah,
team
I
at
mean,
the
the
end of the
Grizzlies
day.
just haven't really like impressed me enough for me to think they're gonna do anything. I mean, they came back from 26. I mean, that's a good comeback, but it's like you're down 26 in the first place. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
great. They're down 14 or 13 in the fourth.
You would have liked to see them take over this series against the Timberwolves and just get them out of there.
I mean, they've had two 10-point comebacks late in the games to make two wins. I mean, if the Timberwolves weren't such choke artists, this series would already be over in five, which is, I mean, just makes me more confident the Warriors would come in here and blitz with either team. But we'll see. I don't know. Who knows? But we're gonna move on to the Nuggets. They're now in the free agency part of their season. They didn't have Michael Porter Jr. They didn't have Jamal Murray, and that doesn't help. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the season was never going to be the year for them missing those two.
yeah,
So this season for them just has an asterisk on it. They're probably going to go into next year with just a new mindset and see what they can do. I could see them being a dark horse to go to the finals because that's just how good I think Jokic is, and Jamal Murray always just he turns into an animal in the playoffs.
right.
But at the end of the day, I think this team needs to find a way to maybe improve itself a little bit in some kind of way.
Yeah, I don't love their bench really. I mean, they have some players. I mean, Bones Highland came out this year and proved to be pretty solid, but I mean, Jeff Green, Jermichael Green. I mean, they're decent. I mean, Aaron Gordon, he's Aaron Gordon. You know, he's get you some points, play some alright defense, but he's not. You know,
Aaron Gordon's,
that contract too
in
is
my
thick.
opinion, just an overrated player. If I'm being honest
Yeah, I'm
with
not
you,
an Aaron Gordon fan.
he's good. He's good, but he just people value him a little more than what I think he is. I like Will Barton. I like Monte Morris as a backup point guard. Jermichael
Hmm.
Green's a good piece. Jeff Green's a good piece,
They
but
just need Michael Porter to come back, be healthy, and Jamal Murray to come back, be healthy, and they'll be right back in like a top
I
team in
just
the West.
personally, I don't really. I think this team would be better off with a different kind of player than Michael Porter at power forward, but that's obviously not too possible. Maybe they could work out a good trade,
Yeah,
but this team would. I could see them benefiting from a more of a really good 3 and D power forward, like a
yeah.
top tier 3 and D power forward.
Who would that be?
You know, the
Anthony
off the
Davis.
top of my head. Well, not
Oh,
not Anthony. That's not who I was thinking. He also would
uh,
never be a power forward. That's against, or no, he would only be a power forward. So that's actually the perfect fit for him. Never mind.
um,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it would be like maybe. Let me take a peek here at some teams and see if I can come up with your kind of. I mean,
okay,
obviously, Kawhi Leonard would be great for them, but someone realistic like a top tier, just a 3 and D guy. Would be I'm not seeing anyone here that's striking me as that guy.
mm,
Maybe over here in the East someone will
okay.
strike me.
The East has some
I
pretty
mean,
athletic players.
I think a Pascal Siakam could fit really good
Oh,
in that team. I think
yeah,
that kind of mold of player.
yeah. Maybe. I mean, if they can get that to work, I mean, that wouldn't be bad. I
Yeah,
feel like they
I
value
think
Michael Porter a lot. I don't know. They probably will never trade him, but I mean, if they were to trade him, I mean, that wouldn't be bad.
yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying you go straight up Michael Porter for Pascal
Yeah.
or whatever. I'm just saying that's the kind of player I think would be a better kind of fit in the Nuggets system and maybe help them go further.
Mhm. I agree.
Just because they need that defensive guy, I think a little more next to Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. is not that defensive guy.
I mean, who on this team really does play lockdown defense?
Will Barton's probably like the best defender, I'd say. Monte Morris is a good defender.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
they have
and
some alright
Jermichael Green's not
defenders.
bad. Aaron Gordon's good, actually. I forgot Aaron Gordon was there. He's a good defender. But I mean, yeah, they got some guys. I think that they need to try to solve the puzzle, maybe give it a year with this core, see what they look like in the playoffs. Like I said, I still do think this core could be a dark horse to go to the finals.
Yeah, I mean they did. This team just needs Jamal Murray and Porter Jr. to come back, and then they'll be right back in the top of the West. But so this was
Yeah,
kind of just a throwaway year. Doesn't
yeah.
really need to do anything for agency crazy, but we'll
Yeah, I
see.
mean, this is a team I could see they could be a very high seed next year and they can make some noise in the playoffs. So we'll just see what they look like next year. There's not going to be a lot probably done by them this offseason.
Right. So we're gonna move on to close today's sports talk episode. We're gonna be moving on to some baseball. Um, we're just gonna basically go around what happened today. See, get some thoughts, get some opinions. Just go around the league pretty much.
Yeah,
Over here on ESPN,
obviously we had the
the brawl.
Cardinals Mets brawl, and the Cardinals ended up coming out on top.
Yeah, basically the Mets are just pissed off because they've been hit like two, three times more than any other team so far this year, and they got hit again, so they got revenge. Hit Arenado, their best player. Arenado wasn't. They didn't even hit him. He just threw the ball near
Yeah, I
him.
was gonna. Yeah, they didn't hit him. They threw the ball at him, probably
Which
trying to
pissed
hit
him
him,
off.
maybe just trying to brush him off the plate,
And
and
the
then that
ball
started a
ensued.
scruffle.
Nothing really happened. I mean, Pete Alonso acted like he
Yeah.
was the toughest man alive. He wasn't gonna do
It's your
shit.
typical brawl in sports where
Everyone comes
everyone
out, they all
gets in the
hug.
middle and they then no one at the end of the day no one wants to get suspended really.
And you got the
Um
wily veterans breaking it up. You got Yachty out there just like, oh guys, it's okay, it's okay. So it's great. But yeah, other than that, Cardinals win.
yeah, moving on from that, I will say it is eye catching seeing that the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers today. That's an interesting game.
It happens. 162 games, you'll have these shit teams beat the good teams. I mean, the White Sox broke their 8-game losing streak today, so good for them.
That that's great news for the White
They're
Sox.
injured. I mean, they're just trying to get through with injuries. I mean, good luck to them. Brewers
It's
beating
gonna
the
be interesting to
Pirates.
see how the
Yeah,
how that AL Central ends up shaping out
yeah. I
with
mean,
the Guardians, the White Sox, and the Twins.
it's just the mosh pit right now of mediocrity. I mean, I think the White Sox will eventually come out on top, but I mean, it's just a bunch of
Yeah, I
teams
mean, with the way
trying.
Buxton's playing right now, the Twins are looking pretty solid, and
Jose Ramirez. I mean, he's
Jose Ramirez is
probably
going
the best
off.
starter in baseball,
I mean,
pretty
they
much.
they also got Owen Miller, they got Steven Kwan, they got some players.
Snow.
Bieber is not playing yet. I'm not tripping there. I hope he'll be back eventually. I believe.
I think he might be playing.
I think he is he. I thought he was supposed to come back
I
like a month into the year, but maybe I'm just off the walk
I'll
or
take
something.
a look here at.
Oh no, he's playing. He sure is.
Okay,
Okay,
well he's back.
that's good news for them.
Good for the Guardians. What a team. That's who I want to
Yeah, I
win.
did.
Big J Ram guy.
I
I
I would
think.
I would love to see J Ram on my Yankees.
I'd love to see him on my A's, but we are poverty and pay 33 mil for our whole team. So that's what happens. Did you
Yeah, I
see the
wonder. I think there definitely is a starter like that somewhere.
yeah.
That I maybe it is the Guardians, but there's somebody that's on the tip of my tongue that
Mhm.
is supposed to be
You
out
got
for a
it.
bit. But maybe
Glasnow
it'll come
maybe?
back to me later.
You thinking of a Glasnow, maybe a DeGrom, maybe a
Nah, no,
no.
I
None of those are ringing a
maybe
bell.
it was DeGrom, but I know about DeGrom.
Okay. Well,
I could have sworn Bieber or something like that was with
maybe it'll
Bieber.
come.
Maybe not.
So did you see the walk off? I think happened yesterday. That was, I mean, mind blowing to say the least of how that happened. I mean,
Um.
the Tigers twins
Oh, I
uh,
didn't see that one. Or yeah, I did see that one actually. That
bad,
was pretty
terrible,
crazy. Yeah,
terrible
that was.
baseball from the Tigers.
The
Terrible.
Twins have gotten away with some things this year.
Yeah, I
I will
mean,
say I did
terrible.
watch the Blue Jays and Red Sox game. That was a really good game. Springer hit and the day before that we were on,
Hmm. Yeah, well,
26th. It's cool though. But
No, I'll go
Sprinter did
back.
hit
It's
a.
okay. Game tie. It's a
All
tying
right.
home run.
Yeah,
No, here we are.
he had a
Go ahead.
tying home run, and then
Okay.
it's left me who came up and
Mhm.
got was it Raimel Tapia?
I didn't
I
watch
think
the
it
game,
was him.
so it's on you. You
I
got
oh
this.
it says down here
Ryan
two
Watabe hits a
extra base
game-ending
and
something.
yeah, okay, so it
So
was
yeah.
Raimel Tapia.
Okay.
He ended up coming in and hitting the I believe was it a sac fly? It may have been a sac fly. Either way, the Blue Jays got it done after George Springer hit a big two-run
Right.
shot in the bottom of the ninth.
And that's all
So
that matters.
that was an entertaining good game.
The other big story from yesterday, or 2 days ago now, I guess, would be Rizzo's three nukes, which one had
Oh
a
yeah, that was beautiful.
like a average of usually
Expected
point
batting
0.10.
average of 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not
But it
okay.
did I believe it would have went out in four different baseball parks. So, you know,
Well, that's good. Four, maybe. Maybe we get to five, maybe six, maybe eventually seven. But
that's a great thing about Rizzo at Yankee Stadium though. His swings are just perfect for the short porch. It's a great combination.
right. So moving back on to today, Brewers beat the Pirates. I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care. The Brewers are being better than the Pirates. The Pirates suck.
You would hope. The
Um,
Reds got 10 hits. I mean, that's impressive.
That's big time. They didn't win the game, but they got 10
10 hits
hits.
is big
That's
for the
probably
Reds.
going to be their season high.
That's a step in the right direction.
Profar continues his hot streak, hits a 3-run nuke, pretty much here's the game. Mackenzie Gore strikes out 10. I mean, they had 10 hits, but 10 strikeouts from the same pitcher. I mean, that's what you expect from the Reds. I mean, they just suck. 3-15, they're terrible. The Rays beat the Mariners. Two
Yeah,
gritty teams going at it. Love that. Harper gets three hits. Beat the Rockies. Rockies,
yeah.
they're there.
The Rockies drop one. Yeah.
Stan hits a nuke.
So
Michael
did Gallo.
King's
That's two
apparently the
games in a
best
row for
reliever
Gallo.
in baseball. Um,
And the King's a
yeah,
beast.
their Orioles suck.
Gallo's getting on track. Orioles are yeah, they're trying.
Yankees are hot. Love that.
Love that.
Don't
Love
love it at
that.
all.
Red Sox get
Pablo,
some revenge
they
too.
do. They came back. Bogart's got four hits. Pablo Lopez is
Pablo
apparently the
Lopez.
best pitcher in baseball currently.
Another great start from him.
.39 ERA. I mean, good lord.
He's looking clean out there. He's looking clean.
Yeah, he really is looking clean. The Nationals, on the other hand, are looking the opposite of clean. Just straight dirty. Dirty and gross.
Very dirty.
Dirty and
Very
gross. 6 and
like
14, you can't
they
win. They're
like
terrible.
you could get some soap off out there. You could try to
It's
rub them down,
gross.
scrub them down. It's
It's a
not gonna
nasty
matter.
sight. They're roasting Soto right now. It's a shame. The Cubs beat the Braves.
Yeah.
It goes to extra innings. Wisdom hits a
Twins
three-run shot.
win.
Big. Twins blank the Tigers. What a shame. Rangers lose. What a shock.
The middling
Um,
teams in the AL West fight for
yeah.
fifth place.
I don't. Otani. I don't think he had the greatest start, but he gets the win. They end up winning the game. 14 hits. J
Yeah,
Ram hits two nukes. Don't
I have
win.
no clue what that happened there. Today I wasn't really, well, I didn't watch as much baseball today. I pretty much just got in my Yankees and
Right.
my Yankees game.
I got my A's in, but
Yankees Orioles.
I looked around a little bit. The Angels. They
Oh yeah, I
just
did see a bit of the A's. Yeah,
Brandon Marsh, is that the guy, or Taylor Ward? Taylor Ward's they
Taylor
have in the hot
Ward.
start. Yeah, he hit a grand
Yeah,
slam, and
he's off to a he's off to quite the start.
hitting nukes.
Um, the A's pitched an absolute
What can
gem
I say?
against the
I mean,
Giants.
the A's, the Giants, what did
Paul
they have? Like the
Blackburn was out there throwing
yeah,
throwing dots.
we're nice. I mean, he has a 1.3 right now. It's okay.
You guys better start hitting though if you want to keep this up.
Yeah, we have been on the hitting slump recently, but it's okay. As long as our pitching
What
stays
is it?
consistent.
Pinder and Sheldon. How do
Sheldon
you say his last
Noisy.
name again? Noisy. Yeah, Sheldon Noisy and Pinder versus the
Yeah,
world
when
right
Kemp
now for
tries
hitting
and
pretty
Elvis
much.
is just on the biggest slump, but no one cares about the A's besides me, so let's not talk about them for too much longer. And that's baseball, and that's infamous sports
That's
talk,
that
right?
is
I mean,
baseball. That's infamous sports talk. I feel like it's a pretty good episode. We got through all the sports.
killed
We
it.
got not I mean not through everything we talk about. I mean if there's something in the UFC that struck us, we'd probably talk about it. Not nothing really at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see what Friday brings. You know,
NHL playoffs are coming up. That could be
oh
a
boy,
fun maybe maybe we'll
Yeah,
talk a
hockey
little bit
facades, stay
about those,
away,
you know.
cause holy shit, are you gonna be disappointed. I mean,
I'm trying to get into hockey, you know.
yeah,
It's
Kyle's
a
got you
sport
guys
I've
locked.
wanted. I've
I'm
wanted to get into
struggling.
hockey. I I want to root for my Seattle Kraken, but you know, not really much to root for this year. So I'm hoping next year is the year
Expansion year,
I
expansion year.
completely get into hockey.
Yeah, we'll see. So what's coming up? I mean, tomorrow draft be live when it starts around like 5 or something on YouTube, which will be is linked in the Twitch somewhere, and then all the links to the other channels will be also in the description. Can't wait to do that, and then I think an NBA show should be around sometime in the next couple of days.
Yeah,
Wrestling, of
we
course,
do
wrestling, MMA.
we MMA,
We
MMA, of
got it all.
course.
We're covering
We're
everything.
covering the sports, and we usually like to stream these episodes on Twitch. What is the Twitch exactly?
The Twitch is Infamous Sports Talk, all lowercase.
And I will warn you if you do end up tuning into a
Hmm.
live Twitch episode of this, we probably won't interact with the chat at all, if any. And also, we stream at demon hours probably
Yeah,
for
it's
most
currently
of
4:30
these.
in the
So
morning. So if that
yeah,
gives
we
you an
get
idea.
our, you know, if you're an early bird or a late bird, maybe you catch the stream, maybe
Right.
not, you know. We're just trying to expand the channel at the moment.
Of course.
Maybe we hit a better hour once we have more to stream for, more
Yeah,
people,
we're just laying the foundation right now. Once the foundation is laid, we'll get more professional about it. But for now, we're just
or
testing
more to
the
come,
waters. But yeah, that's been Infamous
more to
Sports
come.
Talk. Any closing words from you, Mr. Kyle Guest,
Once again, more to
co-host?
come.
Right.
A good episode.
Of
I
course.
enjoyed it.
I did too.
Hopefully, anyone watching it enjoyed it.
Right.
And you know, we'll see you on the next one.
Yep, that's gonna do it for us, and we'll see you when we see you. So long.